Hey guys, thanks for joining me for writing lesson number 3. Today we're going to be talking about subject-verb agreements. So, we already discussed what subjects are and verbs are, so you should have a very good handle on being able to identify them in a clause. Now, the question is, how do they relate to each other, and what are some of the rules that are involved when it comes to subject-verb agreements? There's about 10 to 12 rules that you'll cover in our textbook, so make sure to really pay attention, because once you get to a really thorough understanding of all the different rules, then you should really have a good knowledgeable base for you to start from to improve your score in your SAT exam. So let's cover one of these rules today so that I can give you a very good understanding of how this works. If I were to give you a sentence that involves what is called a collective noun, we should really learn to recognize when that happens. Off the bat, a collective noun, when it's used as a subject, is always singular, because even though it represents a group, it's actually treated as if it is a singular entity. So, an example of collective nouns are words like army or school or audience. These are words, again, that represent a group of people or things, usually quantifiers in front of animals like a flock of geese. Those are collective nouns. If I were to give you a sentence that has a collective noun in the subject, like so, so if I were to give you an example sentence like this, and it says, an army of soldiers declare or declares war, we can immediately identify the verb, which is the action of the sentence, as declare or declares. The subject of this sentence is the army of soldiers. Now, in the past, you might have mistaken soldiers as the conjugating subject. And if we had originally thought that soldiers was the conjugating subject, then we would go ahead and conjugate the verb and say it's the army of soldiers declare war. But from our previous lesson in our textbook, you've already learned that prepositional phrases like of soldiers is to be ignored in a subjective phrase. So let's go ahead and cross this out. Of soldiers really doesn't matter. It's a prepositional phrase. It just gives you more information to the subject. And here we can recognize that the controlling subject is army. And since it's the army, we recognize, aha! Now that the army is a collective noun and therefore it must be singular. So army therefore declares war, does not declare war, and we would then go ahead and choose the right answer choice in your test. So that's really one of the rules that are involved. Again, like I said, there's about 10 to 12 rules that you really have to master. So pay attention as you work through your textbook and understand how each of these rules apply under different contexts. That's really about it, you guys. Thanks for joining me in this very quick preview, lesson 3, as you tackle subject-verb agreements in your writing section. And I'll see you guys next time. Keep studying hard.